Friends giving 10 for 1. What is 10 for 1? Well, if you have 10 nuts and you put them in someone else's hands and they put one nut back in your hand, that's 10 for 1. Friendship. Relationships. New and old. Any relationships. When you were a little kid, you would go over to a friend's house. They'd call you, you'd call them. Yeah, come on over. I got a new toy. Let's play. Ring the doorbell. Can so and so come out and play? Yeah, hang on a second. Let me go get them. Good you're here. Me and my wife can go do something else now. 10 for 1. Little kids, 10 for 10. It's having a good time. Innocence goes away. People do too. Faces are here not to stay. What can you hang on to? Value over your head every day. If you have so-called billions of people scrunched together in geographical areas with human needs, each and everyone wide to receive, less and less giving, getting the very most they can, keeping creeps at bay, keeping hoodlums away. Nothing here to stay. A reflection of oneself. Everything that you are keeping away is a reflection of yourself. Living another day. What more can we portray? Have you ever had a moment in time where you're sitting by yourself, asking yourself, who am I? What have I done to others? That wasn't so cool. Maybe I should be a better person. Well, if you have mood swings, you might do that every day. And you really can. I mean, you could have your mouth wide open to suck anything off, and it still won't be good enough. There's a degree between what would be less than zero and people that are highly successful, that everyone wants to be around. We call this attractiveness, being attractive. Physically, mentally, monetarily, talent-wise, famous. Today, what about the person with the heart as big as the sun, who has nothing to give other than love and a massive heart? And they're all dirty, and their clothes are all raggedy, and they live underneath a tree with moss all around their stuff, and their stuff is all dirty. And they have bad breath because all their teeth are gone, and they have the rotting, and their hair isn't trimmed, and their beard isn't trimmed, and maybe they're real short and not real strong. Maybe they're a female or they're a male. And underneath all that is a massive heart. You know, someone that would take a bullet for you, someone that would set themselves on fire for you. You know, anything for you. Wide to give. And someone might not even bat an eye at them. Is this instinct? Is this something that we were born with? Is this something that's a part of the selective whatever, the strong surviving, the weak dying off? It's a degree of what you would say is strong. I mean, someone could have the biggest heart, and if that's weakness and strength is carrying on and passing your seed on to the next. So there can be some duplication of something that's not going to have anything to do with you directly. And that big heart is worthless. Then how do you perceive friendship? How do you perceive love and caring for one another? Maybe this is only ultra relevant to someone that stops and says, "Hang on a second. What's really going on here?" If you're not doing that, and you say, "Okay, I need to go to the grocery store today, and I need to get a couple of gallons of milk for my family, and I've got to get dog food for little Jojo or whatever, Spike, and I've got to take care of that refinancing and that financing and that blah 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 blah." How many of us stop and say, "Okay, does anyone really give a crap about anyone at all?" Yeah, there's compassion, there's apathy. Those are the extremes of caring and not caring. If someone has the biggest heart, they might not have their hand out. They might be afraid to put their hand out. The person in the corner, in the rags, all dirty, who has a cup sitting between his legs so that way he can get quarters and maybe a couple dollars so they can get some cigarettes and maybe a beer so that way they can feel a little better about the day. And the person walking by snarling at the person for their weakness or their filthiness or even being in their sight is going where? Where are they going? Are they going to a friend's house? Are they going to visit a family member who loves them? What do you do for that family member? What do you do for that friend? What does that friend take from you? What do you do for that friend? I call it 10 for 1. Maybe that's exaggerating. Maybe not. Maybe that's silly. If you want a friend and you want to get to know someone, unless you're portraying a certain idol, or you're lying enough, which is very important. If you're not lying enough, you're not getting enough. A true heart is going to get crapped on. A lying heart is going to get a lot in return. People will hear and heed to lies, and they will damn the truth coming from your mouth. If you want humanity to prosper, humanity will take a crap on you. Humanity loves lies, because lies sound good. They're good for you. They're good for the morale. They're good for the family. Lies keep things going. Truth and realness is a real burden. And it's also very possible that people will find truth to be a hassle. Whereas in a lie, cares more about you. The truth doesn't care about you at all. It's not pretty. So when you go out to make a friend and you're getting to know someone, if you're a male or a female, your ears are going to perk up right now. When you're out to make a friend, you have to be a certain person. If you're not, you might have to give 10 for 1. If I can go out this door right now and be Johnny Depp on the street, do you think that I would have to give 10 for 1 for friendship or love? Does Johnny Depp in a given crowd have to give anything at all? Now Johnny's gonna have to kiss some butt, of course, or else Johnny's gonna have a bad rep. Do you think Johnny has to wrap a package for a sweetie and take it to them for friendship? Do you think Johnny has to do that? All Johnny has to do is open his mailbox, his P.O. box, or his manager going out and getting his assistant going and getting his mail. And Johnny has 1,000 people who's ready just to pucker up and put it right up inside there. Just to connect for a moment with that fantasy of life, of amazingness that they can get. Do you think Johnny values this? Probably not. Does this possibly have something to do with stars not wanting anything to do with your average person? If I was to go down the street, right here, on the very street where I'm around, as Johnny Depp, and then turn around and transform myself back to myself, and then walk back as Johnny Depp, do you think that the people out in their yards watering the lawn or whatever they're doing, raking their leaves, do you think the reaction would be the same? Is this too obvious? Or is this a no duh question? Well, maybe there's some validation to this, validity to this. Why would this be any different in your average town. Why would it be any different between the guy in the cardboard box and the guy on the last top floor of the building that the guy's sitting out in front of? Why would it not be any different? Even in Hollywood, why would it not be any different for Johnny Depp to be standing next to a no-name actor from 30 years ago that nobody knows anymore, that nobody really cares about anymore, who's not as attractive as Johnny, standing right next to him? Are the cameras going to be pointing on him? Unless there's some kind of bashing going on, then probably. My point on this very video, on this very day, from me to you, is not to bring you down. If I have, I apologize. This is more reflection than anything. This is between me and my fellow man or woman who has mood swings, who's maybe lonely, who maybe is shunned on by most of the people that they've ever known, and maybe even people have turned backs on you. Maybe you've turned backs on a lot of people, which I have. Self-reflection, or the valuation, the validity of yourself, your self-worth, in regards to what others value you at, is important. And when you are sad or lonely, or really put out one day, maybe you opened up to someone that you were close to and let them know what doctors diagnosed you as, or simply talking to them saying, hey, I have these mood swings, whatever. And then the next day you call them and they don't call you back for 5 years or whatever. And you're hurting inside. And you're reflecting back to yourself and you're saying to yourself, am I a piece of shit? What am I then? This 10 for 1 situation. If I make my packages with nicer bows, or if I am a little sweeter, a little more nice, if I do everything I can to not have an outburst, or if I spend an extra 10 months out of the year burrowed away in a hole so that way my moods don't come out, will people like me a little more? Or what can I do to be less of a burden on other people, so that way there's less grief for them and less grief for myself? And if you are not getting any kind of answers from asking yourself that, you might have a pretty dark day. You might find yourself sitting inside the bathroom saying to yourself, let me put it this way. You might start evaluating your own worth to the point where it's not anything. If you are sitting there and you're evaluating yourself and you're saying that your worth is not much, I assure you, and I don't want this to be an ego thing, I assure you that you are worth more than that. And even though this is something that's right there in front of my face every single day, you are worth more than that. And if you are not worth anything to another person, That's their loss, and that's their problem. If you would have been that person that they could have counted on when everyone will have crapped on them, which everyone is going to be crapped on all the time. Because that revolving what are you worth to me thing goes all the way around. No one is exempt from that. Even Johnny Depp is going to be sitting there in his bathroom saying to himself on a cold, dark night, asking himself, who actually gives a shit about me? Period. Why would it be any different for Johnny Depp sitting in his bathroom and myself sitting in my bathroom saying, who gives a shit about me? Does it really matter what you have? Does it really matter how attractive you are? Does it really matter? Because everyone's there to take. So if everyone's there to take, they're taken from Johnny Depp. They're taken from the guy down the street. They're taking from the mayor. They're taking from the senator, the president, whatever. They're all getting taken from. If you have a moment with yourself, remember, you gotta remember this, that there's things about you that are beautiful. There's things about you that matter. There's things about you that you have to offer to others and yourself, to your family members, to your friends. And if both of those things are not there, you still have something to offer. You always do. If it's to your little dog friend, if it's to your cat, if it's to yourself, period. You are the one that you're going to wake up next to. You're the one that's going to be feeding that food right into your face. No one's going to be sitting there doing any of those things for you. No one's going to wake you up and stretch you out nice. No one's going to hop in your head and say, all is well. What do we need to do? No one's going to do that. Even if you have an assistant, your assistant is going to take care of themselves. Are they going to wake up and say to themselves, I don't care about me at all. All I want to do is take care of Johnny Depp today. That's it. That's all. No. Johnny Depp's assistant is taking care of Johnny Depp's assistant. And Johnny Depp pays the assistant so that way Johnny Depp can be taken care of. It's period. I think it's a little skewed, friendship is, and what you have to do for it. A good friend understands and cares. And good for you if you have 10 for 10 friendship. If you really do, or 1 for 1, let's put it that way. If I put 10 ounces of gold in front of you, and the friend puts 10 ounces of gold in front of me, I guess you just have serendipity there. And everyone's happy. There's all this stuff online about narcissists. Everyone is a narcissist. 7 billion narcissists. My dad used to say, it's give and take, it's give and take. And I don't really know. I think my mother and my father was pulling me away from being selfish. Because I've, in my time, been introverted. So they were doing everything they could, saying anything they could to get me to come out and partake, to be a part of something. And I never really was a part of anything. I was always really doing my own thing, whatever it was. I've pushed a lot of people away. That's a whole nother video. I'm not an angel. I've done some fucked up things. I've said some fucked up things. Moody in doing so. Not an excuse though. You still have to be accountable. So for anyone out there that has mood swings, you still have to be accountable. If you want to leave it to dissociation or whatever else you can say it is, you still have to be accountable. I still have to be accountable. If I'm not, I'm irrational and unreasonable. If people come and go from my mood swings, or I push people away from my mood swings, and my whole 10 for 1 thing is really a delusion, and it's all my moods, then I gotta be accountable. That's really the only thing I have. Because if you have one person who's bringing X amount to the potluck, and you have another person who doesn't bring anything to the potluck, and they eat at the potluck, then the people at the potluck are going to hate you. They're not going to like you. You have to bring something to the potluck. And if they bring cookies on gold foil, it doesn't matter. No one cares about the gold foil. The only thing that people want is those cookies. If they bring cookies that are coming from gourmet chef in town, then that's pretty sweet. And you bring some Pillsbury aluminum garbage from the store, then they're gonna say, this guy over here brought those disgusting cookies from the store that any of us can get from the store. Wink, wink. You get what I'm saying? 10 for 1. You have a person at the potluck that brings gold and puts it on the table, and the other people bring the Pillsbury and they grab that gold and they shove it in their pockets. How much are they still going to love you if you're a monster? If you're an a-hole, monster, a moody a-hole. And that word gets around, people get around. There's the reputation. Oh man, that guy with the gold, he's just an asshole. That gold was sweet. He's an asshole though. You're not necessarily Hollywood superstar with the gold at the potluck. You're moody asshole with the gold at the potluck. So take take that into consideration. 10 for 1. Know what you are and know what people want from you. And if it's not good enough for them, they can fuck off. And if there is an ounce of love in you, I'd rather have that come my way than that plate of gold. Straight up. And if you think that's pretentious, consider it. Consider it. Good night.